Hi, welcome back. It's episode 2 of my podcast. This podcast is a knitting podcast primarily, but also sewing and any other craft or whatever might happen. My name is Carla. I'm coming to you from the outskirts of Gisborne, Turanganui, Kiwa, in New Zealand, Aotearoa. And today is the 27th, I think. Yeah, 27th of October, and it's in the afternoon. I got home from work about an hour ago. So yeah, so welcome back to anyone who was fortunate enough to see my first one. And welcome to anybody who's just popping in for the first time. I did do a wee bit of a long ramble history about my knitting and my knitting story in my first episode. So if you want to listen to that, just go to the first one. It was a bit of a mishmash. I was just totally on a whim. I was not prepared. I'm not even really prepared today. I was going to record just this last weekend gone. In New Zealand we had Labour Weekend, and Labour Weekend is so we get a Monday off, and it was a beautiful weekend. I spent quite a lot of time outside in the garden, but my partner, he was home more than I thought, and so I just didn't get a chance to sit down and record. But I do have a few things to report. Oh, this is my lovely... What's my screen going? Screen went dark, sorry. This is our cat Blackie, for obvious reasons. He's just chilling out over here. He doesn't know he's being recorded. I don't think he minds too much. If there's any background noise, I do apologise, but I've had to open all my windows and doors. Put it this way, last week we were sitting at around 15 degrees Celsius, and today it's over 25 degrees, and so the contrast is like hot. So I've got a few things to talk about today. Just an update on my works in progress. I've got a couple of finished objects. One's a sewing project and one's a knitting project. I've got another whip that I may have talked about as a future project, which I'm just about finished, and the other two objects, sorry, that's a big truck. We do live rurally, but we've got a sort of a truck route that goes past us every now and then. Can't do much about that. And I also kind of wanted to talk about PDF patterns and just a few other little sewing bits for maybe people who, you might be an experienced sewer and you may not know much about PDF patterns, or you may be wanting to look more into doing some sewing and don't quite know where to start. So I guess we'll talk about my whips first. So this one here is, I would have talked about it last time. It's the Briochealicious shawl that by Andrea Mowry. I'm knitting it in Skeins. It's a Skeins wool. It's called Cove. It's a Cove 4-ply, and it's made from recycled natural fibres, but it's merino, so I'm not quite sure how they work that, but that's what it is. I haven't made as much progress on this as you would expect, but it is brioche. It takes a wee while, and I was only knitting on it at work. So I work in a school, and I usually go to work a little bit earlier in the day, and I was knitting it in the morning with a cup of tea while we were chatting before work and during my breaks. So then we had the school holidays. This is week 2 of the term, so a couple of weeks ago with school holidays, and I didn't really pick it up for reasons which I'll explain. So this is going to be, oh, see now I've got my rings stuck on it, damn it. I don't usually wear this ring with knitwear, but today I wasn't wearing anything knitty, so I didn't worry about it. So I have finished my second colour, which is that it's a purple, you can see, and I'm working on the next plain garter band, and then I'll introduce the second colour. I haven't done any work on it this week because of one of my whips that I really want to finish. So that's the progress of that. Sorry, it's halfway on the round, so I can't really open it. Probably should have thought about that beforehand. But it's just going to be, absolutely divine when it's cold. And yeah, I just love having the extra layers around my neck. I do get cold. So that's the Briochealicious. Sorry, I'm going to have to keep tapping this. My MacBook keeps wanting to go dark. But I've got the front camera on because I really want to see what I'm holding up. One thing I didn't mention last time. Oh, no, I'm not talking about that now. Stop it. And the other one that I was working on was... oh, mess. Total mess, Carla Pert. The sheltered poncho, which I don't think I've really done much more on that because of this other whip that I've got going. And all will become clear once you see it. So this, for anyone who hasn't seen, this is a sheltered poncho by Andrea Mowry. The wool is by Black Hills and it's a New Zealand one. I'm not sure what the ply is, but it actually looks really similar to the colour that Andrea Mowry has in hers, and it's just going to be gorgeous. It's got a hood on it, and I think it's just going to be perfect for that change of season and even just for layering and just keeping warm, particularly on the weekends. I like something that I can just throw over, go outside and do some stuff, not have to worry, but it still looks quite nice as well, so it's not just so that's the updates on the whips. The reason why these other two whips have taken some time to do is because I saw on Hive Knits, Lizzie from Hive Knits, on her podcast, she was wearing, I think it was like the first or second episode, she was wearing this most divine cardigan, and it was made from cotton, and I just couldn't stop looking at it. And then she ended up splitting that episode in two because it took so long, and you had to wait till the second episode to find out what it was. But that's okay, it was one of her first ones, so we all do things like that. And it is called the Seasons Change Cardigan by TheKnitStitch. And this is the picture here, but you can't really tell properly because my printer was kind of running out of ink. I don't think there's, oh, there you go. So you can kind of see, I don't want to show off the pattern too much, but you can kind of see the back of it as well. So it's got a lovely leaf pattern, which I'll show you in a minute. So I have completed the body. So it's knitted flat. It's knitted flat, but all the sides and the front sides and the back all knitted in one piece. Then you separate off for your sleeves, and then you're going to sew together at the top and inset your sleeves. It was really funny actually. So I have got quite a good collection of straight needles, just ordinary needles, because I never really used to knit on circular needles, and I didn't have any 5mm needles. And for some reason I had it in my head that for this one you had to use straight needles. I don't know why, because later on when I went on her Ravelry page, I saw the work was actually laid out on a circular needle, and I didn't want to muck around too much and get the gauge wrong. So I went into town and I went to a couple of different places and couldn't find any 5mm needles. Oh, that's right, no, sorry, zoom back. When I ordered the yarn, I ordered some 5mm chalgoo needles, and they were the 33cm ones, I think. 33 or 30? Can't remember. But they weren't long enough. I had to cast on 161 stitches, and I was literally like up to there, if you can imagine, and I still had like 30 something stitches to get on. It's like shit. Oops, sorry. It's like bugger. So I had to like go into town and try and find 5mm needles, and we've only got a few places that you could go to, and I couldn't find any. And then I went to a quilting shop who's just started to get quite a good selection of wool going in their shop, and really nice stuff. And they had the Knit Pro Symphony straight needles, 35cm ones, perfect in 5mm. So I took those, and I was literally scrunching this, like forcing the stitches on, and they would get to about there. And later on I was just like thinking, should I, shouldn't I? And then I thought, I'll go on Ravelry and see what other people did. And then on the designer's page there was an example of this work laid out on a circular needle. So I was just quickly transferred it over. I haven't had a huge amount of experience knitting garments until this year, so I was just like, didn't want to do it wrong. So this is what I've done so far. The wool is, or the yarn is, I know I've got, it's called Finch, and it's cotton. Where are you? I had a one here. Give me 2 secs. I'll just go and get it. That's right. It's called Finch. It's Fiddlesticks Finch, and the colour is terracotta. And it had a very similar gauge to the yarn suggested by the designer. So, and when I did a gauge swatch, and it worked out really good. So this is me beauty. I'll just hold it up for you. It's a gorgeous colour, but I really pushed knitting this because it's well, we're October now, so we're in spring in New Zealand. It's coming up to summer, but sometimes you do still want something like in the mornings when it's a bit cooler, or at night you just want another layer, but you don't want something hot like woolly. So that's the front, obviously not blocked, and that's the pattern on the back, and I absolutely love it. I'm quite excited actually. So that's knitted, all knitted up, and I've just got one half of a cat, move, scoot, move. I've got one half of a pattern repeat to do to finish the sleeve, and then I'll be on the second sleeve. So they're lovely balloony sleeves. I just love them. They're going to be gorgeous. So I was knitting this at night. I started this, so today's Wednesday, so I started it not Friday last but the Friday before that, and I was just knitting it at night, and I was knitting my shawl during the lunch times. But I did give it quite a good go this weekend in between gardening jobs, because I just really wanted to finish it. It's quite exciting. So that's those. So that's the Seasons Change cardigan. and I think her name is Melanie, but I will add that to the description because it doesn't say on the pattern there and I can't remember. But there was something I forgot to add the last time. I cast this pattern on after I cast on the Briochealicious and the sheltered poncho, just on a whim. I saw this tank top on Ravelry and I thought I'm just going to give it a go, and I had some bamboo yarn. Where is it, cat? Sorry, the cat's sitting on my stash spot now, that I had purchased from a hospice shop in town. So it was second hand. I don't even know if the stuff is still in production. It is Freedom Gorgeous DK Twillies of Stamford, but it swatched up fine, and it is bamboo. I'm pretty sure it's bamboo and nylon. There you go. I don't know if you can see that. And so did I have 3 balls? Only 3 balls, and I was thinking, oh well, I'll just give it a go. I was literally playing yarn chicken. It has ended up oversized in the width, even though I've washed it and blocked it, and quite short in the body, but I didn't complete the whole thing because it was just, I knew that I was going to run out of yarn at some stage, and I've actually worn it a few times, and I just wear another wee singlet underneath it, and it's just this lovely loose, it kind of suits my style. So that's that, and then I just crocheted the straps, so it just sort of, you know, it's quite loose. But the funny story about the pattern is wonky, because you're supposed to put stitch marker in the middle to know when to change your pattern, but the stitch marker was obviously moving when I was doing my yarn overs and I didn't realise. But I figured nobody's really going to notice, particularly my friends, because nobody knits, so they'll just think it's on purpose. You just bluff it. So that's that. It looks quite, I really like the way it knits up. It's got that nice, you know, one side goes straight and the other side looks like that. So that's that finished object. The second finished object is a dress. This is the Hinterland dress by So Liberated, and it's made from a linen that I purchased from Backstreet Bargains here in New Zealand, and I haven't done any photos on Instagram yet because I wore it on Sunday to a work lunch for my partner's work, and we went to a pizzeria and I actually accidentally dropped some tomato stuff down on the skirt. I didn't even know. I thought it was being so good wearing this pale coloured dress. So it actually needs to go on the wash. I put some soap on it. But, so this is just a lovely, simple cap sleeves. I was really unsure about doing cap sleeves. I think, like a lot of women, I have a issue with my arms. I don't like my arms being out, but I just figure you've just got to get over that. So I just wore it anyway, because I don't judge people when they have their arms exposed. But yeah, so it's just a little bodice like that, and at the back it has a tie. You don't have to do the tie. The pattern comes as an option just to have sleeveless or 3/4 length sleeves as well, and you can also alter the length of the skirt as well. But I really like this, and I've had the pattern for quite a long time and just hadn't got around to making it yet. So I'm pleased I did, but that's got to go into soak because it's got tomato paste stains on it, damn it. And yeah, so the other thing I was going to talk about, I'm going way too fast, but you guys don't need to be sitting here all day watching me. This is a little bit of coffee. I don't normally drink coffee past, I only have like 1 in the morning these days, but I really needed it today. So it quite often makes me feel a bit sick, but it hasn't been making me feel sick today. So this is my little segment where I wanted to talk about PDF patterns and sewing. So for those out there who you may be wanting to do some more sewing, or maybe you just haven't used PDF patterns before, I'll talk to you a little bit about what I do and sort of how they work. I love PDF patterns because we don't have a dedicated sewing shop in Gisborne anymore. We've got, well, actually I lie. We've got one place, I'm not going to name it. I don't really like it, and I don't believe that they have a very good selection of paper patterns. So it just means, and really quite frankly, I hate going to town. I really hate driving around town. Just too many people. But the way the PDF patterns work, I mean, you purchase it just like you do with your knitting patterns, and you end up with a PDF file emailed to you, you download it, and you've saved it, and then you've got it forever. And you can print it out in your size, or you can print it out depending, like some designers, they will do layering in their patterns, so you can just print out the size you like. Some don't give you the option, you just have to print out the whole lot in one, just like a normal, paper pattern. But yeah, or you can maybe cut out the two sizes on either side of your main size so that you can grade your size, which is going to lead me to something else, so don't let me forget to talk about sizing. So when they come, I've just put mine in these C4 envelopes because I've really struggled to find ways to organise them. I've had them hanging, I've rolled them, and now I've decided to do the envelope option, and it's actually working okay. So this is what I'm going to show you. What I do is I normally print out the front of the pattern and I glue it to it, and then it's just a quick reference, and then I keep the instructions in another clear file folder that I can just pull the instructions out as well. So this is one I haven't pieced together yet. And you can see that this one's actually not printed very well. I'm going to have to print it again, but I'm just going to print it on the other side of the paper. You have to make sure that you follow the instructions from the manufacturer the designer of the print settings. If you scale it, then you're going to make your pattern too small or too big. But all the instructions are always there. So basically you cut down one side, cut down the other, and then where you have these little markers here, you're going to match for the next piece that comes along. So the next piece here, and you'll see how this hasn't printed out very well. I did this probably about a year ago and I haven't done it yet. But see, that should join up to that at the top there. And so on, and you just stick them together and then you can cut them out. So they're tiled, so that's how it works. So you imagine it's tiled, but it's actually quite an easy way to do it. And then when they are complete, they will look like this. I haven't made this one yet either. It's quite gorgeous. So you can see that's all stuck together. So talking about sizing, a lot of us don't like looking at a size, and I don't know whether it's some sense of denial or what, but if we look at a number in it, or small, medium, large, and we have this whole body image thing that happens where you just feel yuck. But I do encourage you to measure yourself. You just have to be honest with yourself, because when you don't, and you go to all that work and it does not fit, then you're just totally gutted. Most of us aren't a certain one size, so I've always been smaller on top than the bottom, even when I was really slim. So sometimes you will have to grade between your sizes, and there's plenty of videos on how to do that. It's really easy, but I do encourage you to be realistic about your size. So I'm wearing size 16s, and I was always a size 10, but you just have to wear, or have to make it, and be honest, and you will feel so good about yourself. So what I should have mentioned is what I'm wearing. So I've shown this in my first podcast. This is a pattern that was a free pattern. It was designed by In the Folds in conjunction with Peppermint magazine, which I think is an Australian magazine. And they have on their website, they have free patterns that you can download. And if you like, you can just donate some money to them, which I have done in the past. It's got a lovely, it's got half lining, or it's like a big facing really, and then it's got these gorgeous ruffle sleeves, and it's made from a linen, and it's nice and cool, and it kind of covers that top part of my arms that I don't like people seeing, but I had this sort of tucked into the top of my skirt today. You can kind of see how that sort of looked, and then the back was just over the back. And then the skirt I made probably about 6 weeks ago, and that's just a rayon, and it's got little side pockets. It's got an elasticated back with a flat band at the front, and it's got inseam side pockets, which I love. Some people don't. I absolutely love pockets. And yeah, and that's by So Liberated. So that was the estuary skirt. Yeah, so that's my whips, my finished object, my ramble about sewing. Oh, I wanted to, and then there's exciting stuff. So I've got to be disciplined. Oh no, this is not it. Where is it? I've got to be disciplined, and I'm not allowed to make this until, I thought I had it here, until the I'm not allowed to make it until, maybe, is it there? Away with the fairies. Until at least I've got Briochealicious shawl out of the way. But I purchased the pattern for Andrea Mowry's new Frank shawl. It's so gorgeous. And I actually did something I've never done before. I ordered wool from overseas. I ordered the Malabrigo Machita? I'll double check that. From the wool warehouse in the UK. Because, you know, that kind of wool is expensive. But it was going to cost me a lot more to either order it from New Zealand or Australia than it was to order it from the UK, including international shipping. It's crazy, but I'm on a budget, and I ordered it. But I figured that by ordering it from the UK, it would take a little while to get here, which will give me some time. But I'm really annoyed. I thought that I was actually kind of organised and had the the printout for the Frank shawl here so that I could show you. But I mean, you could just look it up, or I could try and find a picture. But it's just, I love her stuff, and I love watching her podcast. She's just absolutely gorgeous. Which leads me on to something else. So a lot of people do podcast mentions, and I love it when people do that because it's put me onto some really cool people. I've been really, really resounding with, now if she's watching, you have to forgive me, it's Mega, from Skeins of Dreams, and she's just lovely. She's only put out a few episodes. She's in the States. She's an Indian lady living in the States, like Indian lady, and she just cracks me up. Like, I think you'll find a thing with people I recommend. They're usually quirky or funny or just really cute, like just have really cool little bit of personality to them, and she just makes me laugh. And she was talking about going to Rhinebeck, and she'd said that all she wanted to do when she got home was eat rice. And I had this gorgeous wee conversation with her just in the chat of her video, saying, you know, I think I must have mentioned I was from New Zealand, and she'd said that that was a bucket list thing for her, and I said, well, you have to come and stay with me because we eat lots of rice. So we had a bit of a laugh. But she's neat. She's really neat. She's so enthusiastic about what she does, and it's really infectious. I'd love to meet her in person. She's really cool. And the other lovely lady is Claudia from Knits for the Soul. I think that's what her podcast is called. And she comes from Germany. And I actually first stumbled upon her. So this always gets really convoluted when I talk about how I find people. But I was watching Lizzie from Hive Knits, and she's really cool. And she was talking about her friend Tom. And I will see if I have saved his podcast in my subscription list. And he's a knitter, but he has done this series on his YouTube account where other people talk about their mental health journey and how knitting or craft has helped them through that journey. And Claudia was one of the people on there, and I just her story, I don't know, I just found her story just really connected with her. And so I found her podcast, and I don't know why she doesn't have more subscribers than she does. I mean, she doesn't have low subscribers, but she's just really neat, and I just enjoy listening to her, and I enjoy her little bits of personal stuff that she throws in. I think that kind of really gives you that really nice connection. So those are those two. I thought I had written down some more, like just every time I think about it, I think, oh, I'll mention that person. But yeah, I don't think it's on this piece of paper. So there. Is there anything else? Don't think so. I talked about my whips, talked about that, talked about my future project. But yeah, so there's not really a lot more to say. I mean, I could ramble on about my personal life if you like, but a lot of people don't like that. So if you want to go now, you can go now. Thank you for coming. Leave a comment and connect, say hi if you like. yeah, I'd love to talk to people. I think I mentioned that in my first podcast, is I don't have any friends that knit, and yeah, I'm pretty sure my partner, he's just amazing. Like, he just lets me talk about all my shit, all my stuff. Yeah, so that is that, coming from the incredibly sunny and warm Gisborne for October. Pretty sure it's up above 25 degrees outside. I hope that you're all well, and I hope that you've all got something fun to work on, and fingers crossed this recording comes through okay. If it does, you've got it. Hey Blackie, hey, it's just right there. And just, yeah, look after yourselves and take care. So thanks, bye.